This is the Sammy Hutch Show, episode 5. We're here. We made it. What's going on, guys? Got a lot going on. Had a good Thanksgiving. Hope you guys did too. This is the Girl Boss Car AI Conspiracy Theory episode. I haven't made a name yet. Fuck it. We ball. Lot going on today, guys. Lots happening. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I did. I was sleeping on the floor at a relative's place. That's a way to go, yeah. Gotta get myself a hotel room next time. Oh man, oh man, oh man. It's good to be here, though. It's good to be back. What's going on? A lot in the news, a lot I've been reading about, been kind of getting into it. Got a lot to talk about today, so let's get right into it. We're just gonna turn up the recording volume a little bit. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, man. Been reading a lot, been seeing what's going on online after this Thanksgiving. Kind of been diving into some sort of deeper areas of AI. You know, a general focus on the show I've been talking about lately was AI. And, you know, to be honest with you guys, the start of the show, when I first started doing this, I wanted to talk a lot about trade work and what it's like being a young guy trying to come up into this world with the trades. And then just the more deeper I look, the deeper the rabbit hole goes with all this AI stuff. People losing jobs, mass layoffs, mass employment, unemployment. It's getting real. It's getting serious. Not in my line of work. I'm fine. I'm an electrician, but for a lot of you guys out there watching or thinking about what you're trying to do with your future, what you're doing right now with yourself, you know, as an electrician and as a stand-up comic, I get a lot of time to think about what's really happening, what's going on in the world. So let's dive into it, all right? So this first part of the episode, I'm going to be talking about some stuff I'm into, and then about halfway towards the end, we're going to get towards the AI stuff I've been looking into. Yeah, so recently in the news, President Donald Trump has announced a clear path for the production and sale of K-Cars vehicles in America, following his recent trip to Asia where he saw print-sized cars flooding the streets. K-Cars, what are they? What's going on with them? They're sort of like smaller cars, smaller vehicles, sort of like go-go trucks, small, tiny trucks with little beds on them. They're really useful. They got a lot of specialties to them. Reading this article here. Let's scroll down in the article for you guys. Reading this up. Alrighty, we got a pop-up already. That's great. Hell yeah. Fight. Alright, come on, guy. Here we go. We're back. We'll cut that out. During a White House announcement on Wednesday where he rolled back Biden-era fuel economy mandates, Trump described the cars as reminiscent of the classic Volkswagen Beetle. And there's quotes from Trump. Yep, quotes from Trump. If you go to Japan, where I just left, and if you go to South Korea and Malaysia and other countries, they have a very small car. Sort of like the Beetle, how it used to be with the Volkswagen. They're very small. He talks a lot about like what they look like, what they are, what's going on with them. And it's kind of interesting to me about his take on these K-Cars. See, this is the Toyota Hilux in the image right there. Hilux Champ. These K-Cars are essentially compact, very cheap to make, really good for the consumer. Safety rating, not so much, but hey, fuck it, right? We need vehicles. A lot of us are just going to work. You need a car for the family, you get a car for the family. You need a car for yourself, you get a car for yourself, right? Yeah, these sort of cars in the article I'm reading in Asia, these vehicles produced by makers like Honda, Toyota, Suzuki, they typically retail for around $5,000 to $15,000 for compact SUVs, sports cars, and trucks. Could you picture that? $5,000 to $15,000 for a new car? You know how crazy that would be? Man, I fucking wish, dude. I got my used compact SUV for like 14 used, a couple of years old. These new ones coming out, 15 grand for a new car. Are you fucking kidding me? After reading this article, though, I kind of had this following question. Why are American cars so goddamn expensive? Like a new car these days, like you see some sedans going for around 20 to 40, no, 40, 30 to 40K. You see these luxury trucks going for like 50, 60. Like who needs a luxury truck? Like who buy like the only reason I could think about buying a luxury truck is some office guy who, you know, brings his kids to soccer practice and throws the fucking gear in the trunk bed. Maybe throws some mulch in it once in a year to do his yard, if that even. You know, it's luxury truck prices, it's just truck prices in general are so fucking ridiculous. I just can't stand it. We're probably not at that point where I could start swearing in the video, but hey, fuck it, we ball. Let's actually take a look at these truck prices going on right now. Making sure I got the right article up. All right, so I got a list here of the cheapest trucks right now in the United States. Number 1, a 2025 Ford Maverick XL. 8,400. 29 grand. No, basically 30 grand. Number 2, a 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz SE. 30,245. 2025 Toyota Tacoma SR. 33,185. What? Yeah, and keep in mind, we don't produce any sort of small, compact-sized trucks anymore. We only produce in the United States medium-sized to large-sized trucks. Now, don't get me wrong, right? We got our uses with our large-sized trucks. A lot of us tradesmen out here, like myself, we're out here, you know, some guys might be towing some goods, keeping the tools in the back, heavy machinery. That all makes sense. But why does the average consumer need a full-size Super Duty F350? They don't. There's no point. So take for example me, right? I'm an electrician. I got tools in the back. Sometimes I got to carry stock. You know, it'd make my life a lot easier having a small truck. But because the prices for these we don't even make small trucks. The prices for these medium-sized trucks are just so outrageous. I can't even afford one. Why would I even bother buying one? It makes zero fucking sense for me to buy a medium to large-sized truck right now, unless I'm running my own business or something like that. But I'm starting out in the field. I just got my license recently. There's just no point for me to buy a large truck right now. But I think my biggest concern is the price for these things. You know, we're looking at 30 to 40 K, and these are the cheapest prices of these trucks you can see here in the article. It's just like, right, like if you got a worker making like 75, 80K a year and you're charging 40, 30K, that's half your salary in a year. Like how does that make sense? How long are you going to be paying that off for? Years, bro, fucking years. It's you know, you can do what you want with your money, but all I'm saying is financially, to me, it just doesn't make sense. If to buy a medium-sized to large-sized truck, if you could get away with like a truck, if you do a job with like truck capability, but like you don't need a tow, you don't need to like carry heavy equipment, you just need a bed for like carrying stock, tools, and stuff. Like why would I buy one? It makes zero sense. And that's why something like the Toyota Hilux makes complete sense to me. Here, let's do this. Alrighty. Oh, I scrolled down on the article. Sorry about that. But that's why the Toyota Hilux as a K truck makes sense to me, though. If you're able to get a truck like this... Sorry about that. The stream's acting weird. But anyways, you guys get the point. The Toyota Hilux... Oh, you know what it is? I bet it's... there we go. The Toyota Hilux makes a whole lot more sense. If you could get a compact truck, hold the tools in the back, no crazy gadgets or gizmos. I was looking at a video of the Toyota Hilux on the inside, bro. It literally had like the analog buttons, had like the most basic stuff. They have the little iPad screen. Everything's got to have an iPad screen for some reason. Guys in their late 20s to early 30s didn't grow up playing on tablets, right? Like, why do we need a fucking tablet for everything? What am I going to do? Watch porn in the company truck? Watch porn on my commute to work? Like, what's the point? Makes no sense. GPS? I don't know. But having an affordable truck does make complete sense. Those would sell like hotcakes. Now, going back to what I was talking about, why are truck prices so expensive? I started looking in. I started doing a little deep dive, trying to figure out what is going on here with it all. And it all goes back to the U.S. emissions rules for larger trucks and SUVs. It also has something to do with the importing rules. But here, let's take a look. This article is by Reuters. I'm going to be making Roto-Routers. My friends are going to be making fun of me for this. Take a look at this article. How U.S. emissions rule encourage large SUVs and trucks. Basically, drivers... All right, so Reuters... drivers around the world want more roomy and powerful cars. I don't know about that. Rules under the administration of President Barack Obama make it easier for U.S. automakers to give customers what they want and keep expanding size of their vehicles. Long story short, if we scroll down through the article, let's scroll down. I need to get like a guy to help me with this. If we scroll down on the article, talks more about how basically there's a law around these emissions where the reason why these trucks are getting so much bigger is that the way they can build them, right? You can't build them smaller because then it makes it more hard to pass for emissions. But if you make it bigger, you can add more emissions to it. Therefore, it makes more sense to be able to build them up bigger and bigger, and you can charge more and more and more. And for a lot of working class people like myself, a lot of buddies I know, like we don't need these fucking limousine boats of trucks. We just need something that could carry the tools, carry the stock in the back. If you need something to tow, you get something to tow, right? That makes sense on why you need like an F-150 or something like that. But trying to sell you a car that could pay like well over $80K brand new, it just doesn't make sense, right? Like if your salary is $75K a year when you're young and starting out in the trades, it makes zero fucking sense to buy a car that costs $80K. It's just ridiculous. Let's keep going in the article. Whole lot of pop-up ads. Actually, this Reuters article is kind of small. I'll get to the nice juicy part of it though. The nice juicy part of this article, man. All right. Shift towards even larger SUVs has had a global effect. SUVs were the second largest contributor in the increase of global CO2 emissions since 2010 after the power sector. No, this isn't the juicy part. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Oh, here we go. Here's the juicy part. An 8 square foot increase in the footprint of a vehicle can allow for 2 to 3% more carbon dioxide emissions. So we're gatekept by emissions. Dog, don't they use like charcoal plants in China? You know what I mean? Isn't there like smog cities over there? Why are we worried about cars making more emissions? I get like if we have set regulations on emissions, that's good, but like let's be a little bit more lenient here. Why do we gotta make just big cars so that way we can make sure emissions are fair? Like it's a loophole they're using to get around it. It's fucking ridiculous. And even if you want to get, like, let's say, a K car, because Trump is trying to pave the way. And keep in mind, guys, I'm not political. This isn't a political podcast. It's just me speaking my mind about what I'm seeing going on. More of a trade comedy podcast, I guess. But let's talk more about trying to even import foreign cars. Like, let's say you want, like, that Toyota Hilux. They're not selling it yet. Oh, can I import it? No, you can't even import it right now. It's fucking ridiculous. We got a pop-up ad. That's great. Here, take a look at this. So they have what's called a 25-year import rule. This is by Roger Bierman. The United States is one of United States of America may be the second largest car buying market in the world, behind only China, but that doesn't mean we get all the cool car that the world has to offer, or the most affordable cars. We get whatever Detroit and the Rust Belt can sell us. That's what we're stuck with right now. There are often a number of hurdles to climb. One such hurdle is commonly referred to as the 25-year law or the 25 import rule. Effectively, Effectively, the 25-year import rule waives the need for vehicles to meet safety standards and emissions set out by the National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA, and environmental EPA. Older, you guessed it, 25 years. 25 years. It takes 25 years for us to get an imported car. Now, if you look back, right, this rule started back in what, the 70s, the 80s, sometime around the 60s, 70s, 80s. That's where it started. That's where the law came into play. I looked into some of the research. It's not on here, but going back all those years ago, what ended up happening was that JDM cars and like imports were selling like hotcakes compared to American-made bulky cars. Now, obviously, the safety wasn't there. If you look up a video of like the original, it's that English look, the Mini Coupe, bro. The Mini Coupe was literally just like a tin can. It was a death trap. You wrap yourself around a tree and you're fucking dead. And it makes sense for the safety reasons. But I mean, we're coming. It's been what? It's been over 40 years since this rule has been applied. Technology has improved. Stuff's increased. It's not really about, to me, it's not really about emissions or safety anymore. It's about how the American car industry can just stranglehold Americans to buying only their product. We're stuck with buying buy domestic vehicles. And obviously, you got it for 10 years. Bro, they got computers in them. The computers are so complex, dude. Just trying to replace like a door panel, you got to replace the whole fucking door. You're spending like out the ass on repairs and the technology, and they force you to go to the dealerships to get the repairs. Like you can't go to your mom and pop local automotive shop, the local mechanic, to have these new cars fixed. You got to go to these dealerships. It's just ridiculous. It's a complete stranglehold on the market, and that's why I think getting these K cars, or just getting cheaper cars, is so important. Like the Toyota Hilux. Like, look at this sexy beast right here, man. I love it. This thing is fucking sick, dude. That truck bed raises, bring it down. You got all the basics you need. What's cool about the Hilux too, that I kind of liked about it, if you look at the interior of the vehicle, it's real plain, kind of ugly, and that's what's good for consumers like me and you guys. Consumers who just want to get the bang for the buck. They just need something that works, that's stable, reliable. You don't need the fancy gizmos or gadgets. That's for the office worker and his wife, fucking with their their 3 kids. Dude, get a minivan. You know what I mean? Get like get an SUV. You don't need a truck. No, not everyone needs a truck. And it's also too, like, you hear about these people who, like, the anti-car people, man. The anti-car people. Now, these people often lives in cities, and I get your point. Like, I get the point of, like, anti-car. Like, why do we need all these cars filling the roads, especially if you're in a city where you're in a walking distance? Well, a lot of guys like me have to come out and fix your fucking ceiling fan, or fix your outlet you broke because you plugged in too much shit into one circuit. Now, I'm with you. I'm kind of with these people in some ways of, like, we don't need these giant tanks rolling across the road where we can't see children crossing the street when we're driving in them. We don't need all that. But at the same time, we need cars to get around. America is a nation of highways. We're a highway nation. We're not in Europe. We're not in Asia. And not everything is close by. Everyone has to commute to work, Working from home is dead, basically. It's just not as big as it was what it was in COVID. It's just like, it's important that we have affordable cars that make sense, that are somewhat safe enough. So I get it. I get why these people are all angry about these big trucks and stuff. I'm angry too, but that doesn't mean we can just get rid of all the trucks and cars in general, because we need it. So I think maybe some of these K cars are a good, like, in-between spot. a real good sort of like, I want a car, but I don't want an absolute fucking behemoth on the road. I don't need a tank, especially in like, dude, especially in these older cities. So I'm like New England area, Boston specifically is where I work. These roads are all curvy, real small, just tough to like get around, you know? It's just a pain in the ass, especially when you're driving. Like I have to drive a work van. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do. You got to be on guard all the time. People are crossing the street. It's definitely tough to get around. So having like smaller vehicles on the road like that would be a lot better. I think these affordable K cars, maybe make sure they're safe. Make sure, you know, they're fuel efficient and very safe, like safe enough. I think having them in the States would be a big win for the consumer, for the people, for the car people, and for the anti-car people. It's that sweet, sweet in-between spot. It's good. It's nice. I like that, you know? Why should I pay 40, 50, 60K for a new car? You know, that's why I bought a used car. That's why I bought a compact SUV. It just, that's what I can get in the market right now. If you live in like Asia or Europe, you could get a K car for like 15, 20K, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculously cheap for a brand new 2025 car. I had to buy a fucking 2014 car. I wanted to pay in full. I didn't want to pay interest. You know, do what you want with your money. I'm not going to judge, but it's like I was able to pay in full because I got an affordable car. It makes more sense economically. It makes more sense for me financially. Makes more sense on gas mileage, tell you that much, for what I got. It just sucks. Like I wanted a truck. I want a truck. Trucks are cool. I don't want a behemoth. I don't want some sort of World War I tank driving on the road. You know what I mean? That's what I don't need. But to each to his own. I know some people are going to be saying, dude, what about the lifted trucks with the big tires and the big rims? Those monster trucks are kind of cool. I will say they're kind of cool. All right. I'm not shitting on the big trucks. My heart's still out there for them. It's just, as an American, I like having options. I like having choices. Why do I have to be stuck with one plain old schmain old thing? You know, that's not American. That's not what the country's about. It's about having choice and options, dog. It's about the freedom. You know, it's about having what I want. It's about having the capability to get different things. Like, why are we stuck with this one thing, this one meta? Makes zero fucking sense. The only sense it makes is that it just goes into the industry, into the general GM, Ford, Chevy's pockets. They don't have to worry about foreign competitors. Which, if you ask me, it kind of slows down the market a little bit, right? Like not having competitors in the marketplace. Like, how does that make sense? So what, they're just going to compete with each other? Why innovate? Why do anything special, you know? Here, we'll put a few fancy gizmos, gadgets. We'll put a tablet there so you can jerk off while you're driving. You know what? Fuck it. Let's stream video games and play stuff, you know? Like, why? I don't know. I don't know, guys. You tell me. By the way, if you like the video, like, subscribe, please. It means the world. I'm not gonna ask for cash. I'm not asking for the Patreon. I do it for the love of the game, son. I'm gonna complain for free. You know. All right. Let's talk about something different. Let's talk about we were talking about trucks, talking about cars, talking about what was on my mind, but lately, you guys all know, anyone who's keeping up with the podcast, anyone who's watching the videos, the shorts, the YouTube, the TikTok, the YouTube. I'm not on any other platforms. The YouTube. You guys know that a lot of my content lately, a lot of my videos lately has been a lot about talking about trade work, talking about economics, talking about whatever I feel like. A lot of it though has been AI because as you guys all know. This podcast is sort of me just ranting about being a young man in the trades, trying to just experiencing the world for what it is. I feel like I live in a different world sometimes because, like, I know a lot of you out there who went to college who are watching this not more educated, but just educated through a different system than me. I was educated through working, through going to trade school, doing the night classes, learning from people, a real apprenticeship. It's what's really interesting about trade work is like there's still that like that feeling of like learning from someone one-on-one. Like even like medieval times, right? With like blacksmiths had their apprentices, knights had their squires, farmers had their farmers. I don't know. The farmers didn't have shit. Most of us back in 1500s, crazy. But a lot of trade work is what's on my mind. And what's interesting to me is looking at the outside world, outside of my realm of things. See, my world ain't really changing all that much, guys. I'm going to be real. Like, my world is really just go to this job, go to that job, wire some stuff up. New code came out. What's this new code? Okay, cool. Bluetooth switches, sick, whatever, maybe, swapping companies with a new company. Here we go. It's a weird feeling being in the trades, man. I'm not going to lie. I can't get outsourced by AI. I can't get outsourced by robots. And to top it off, as a skilled tradesman, I can't get outsourced by any sort of foreign labor because you need licensing and stuff to actually like pull permits and do things legally, some people do it illegally. I do it legally, it's just what it is. But it's kind of interesting looking at what the world is turning into with AI and how things are changing. And it's really been on my mind about just what's going on with all these people. See, I got a lot of friends who went to school, who work these office jobs. I'm on social media. I see a lot of these women and dudes who work in these office jobs, office gigs, different sorts of jobs and stuff like that. Just a whole different realm from what I live. And something I've been noticing a lot, I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed too, layoffs, AI becoming more of a thing in the workplace. Not for me, for you guys. I just watch the videos. I just learn about it. What else? Just harder time for employment, I believe. When I was an apprentice, it was kind of like that. See, as an apprentice, it's competition. When you're a licensed guy, it's a little different. It's just, and that's what it is, because there's not enough licensed guys coming into the trade. There's more licensed guys coming out of the trade, which makes it more difficult for apprentices to become licensed guys. And that's what happened 20 years ago. That's how, like 20 years ago, and even before that, in the 80s and 90s, when colleges were getting shoved down everyone's throat. You need to go to college to be successful. You need to do this. You need to do that. Don't do trade work. Don't do construction. That's dirty work. Yeah, well, look who can easily get a job as a licensed guy. Look who's not getting outsourced by AI. You know what I mean? It's just... College isn't a scam, but let me tell you, times are changing indeed. And especially with, like... My experience in the high school educational system, public schools, these guidance counselors, right? Like in these public high schools, they tell you, all right, by like sophomore year, you start to focus more on like, what do you want to do with your life? Junior, sophomore year, they start really focusing. Junior year, they really start focusing on what do you want to do with your life after high school. And I remember they would call kids down, they would do like sophomore year, I believe they did like some sort of assessment online to see what you wanted to do. I remember mine was like electrical engineer or something like that. And I'm like, all right, guy, because this machine knows me. Yeah. This program knows what I want and what I'm about in life. I remember one day though, during my junior year of high school, I went to my guidance counselor's office because they called me down. They're calling everyone down to see what you want to do for a job, for after high school. What's your plan? And I remember I sat down in this lady's office. She was cute. And we were talking. She asked me, what do you have planned after high school? And I told her, I think I'm going to become an electrician. And just the look on her face, it was like shock. She was like, oh, really? And it's like, why is this surprising? Why is this surprising? I don't want to go to college and do something with myself. Like, I can do something with myself by not going to college. I know what I want to do. I know I could learn stuff. I know I can keep learning. I know I can make serious money, and that doesn't mean I have to go to college. I know I can do stuff without going to college. It's just the shock on her face, man. It just stuck with me. And it's just crazy to see that. I think a lot of what I personally believe, from what I read about online, from what I read about and talk to with different people, it's like these guidance counselors, they're just going to push you to college anyways. They're just going to be like, all right, you don't know. Like, let's say I didn't know what I wanted to do. They'd say, all right, why don't you try community, or why are you interested in a 4-year? And there's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you're interested in, if that's what you want to do with your life. And even if you don't know, I mean, I think community isn't a bad idea. Community college isn't a bad idea. Whatever's cheap and affordable, like learn, keep learning. Don't stop learning, guys. But just the look on her face when I said, I think I want to become an electrician, was just like, what the fuck? Like, why is this a surprise? I don't know. Hell, even my own mother, I remember I sat one day during, I believe, my junior year of high school, sophomore year of high school. My mom asked me, what are you gonna do with yourself? And I told her, I think I'm gonna become an electrician. And the look on her face was like, huh? You want to do what now? You want to be what? Why don't you go to college? Go to college. Learn something. Go study liberal arts. Like, you don't fucking know me, apparently. And she didn't. God only knows where I'd be if I went to. I'd be homeless right now if I went to college. Not saying because all college kids are going to be homeless, but because I wouldn't apply myself right in this field. For me, it really worked out better for going to trades. But anyways, don't judge a book by its cover, guys. Keep learning. I went into trades. I like it. I'm happy. I got my ticket. I got my golden ticket. I will never not be working the rest of my life.